And it's the Rusty Satellite Show. I thought I'd take a quick look back at what's been going on with the show. First, here's our headquarters where the recording takes place. And some of our guests, John Asher and Bill Downs, came by one day. Young Ben Rhodes, the racing phenom, I interviewed. Also talked with John Bull, the Wave TV anchor, about the Ironman competition. Diane Williamson recorded our voiceovers. Kirk Candle talked to me about cycling. It was really interesting. Gil Holland, one of my favorite Louisville entrepreneurs, came by the studio. I talked to Bourbon Authority Fred Minnick over at the Derby Museum. Terry Boyd is in charge of Insider Louisville. I talked with Tyler Allen about the bridge controversy. Cindy Tandy came by and talked about some social media activities. Adam Lefkoe, he of the name-dropping Sportscast. Eric Crawford talked to me about his book on Rick Pitino. Then there was Steve Fader, who runs Catholic Sports Network. I love the visit with Angie Fenton. Larry Muhammad, a former CJ writer, now writes plays. There's my best pal, Mark Hebert, was my very first guest. Steve Paradis, the first boss that I had, former boss, was on the show. And there's David James, the Metro Councilman. Got to talk whiskey with Bernie Lubbers over at Heaven Hill. Sarah Havens and I discussed all my Leo Weekly Awards. And then there's Shannon Cogan, who was new to town with Wave TV3. At the Forecasting Festival, I talked with J.K. McKnight. I spent some time with John Y. Brown III talking about his new book. And Perry Clark about the hemp and marijuana controversy in Kentucky. That was Coach Dan McDonald, the University of Louisville baseball coach. Mike Berry is the Kentucky Derby Festival organizer. Nick Weiss talked to me about some great documentaries he's produced. Brendan McCarthy is the new head of the Kentucky Center for Investigative Reporting. And Jerry Miller, Metro Councilman. John Cosby of the J-Town Chamber during Gaslight Festival. Claudia Coffey, one of my favorite anchors on WHS TV. During the Idea Festival, I talked with Chris Kimmel. Margie Ezrock came, I went by and talked to her on the eve of the St. James Court Art Fair. Mose Putney is an interesting guy. We talked about the hemp problem. And that was a shot of me with my alter ego, Rick Redmond of the Louisville Slugger Museum, Marianne Zickert.
But you better keep this in mind.